देवाय ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत् नष्टप्रायेष्वभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवतीर्वुत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवती नैष्टिकी कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय देवकीनन्दनाय च नन्दगोपकुमाराय गोविन्दाय नमो नमः। ॐ ज्ञानतिमिरन्दस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरोन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। नमः ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिन्निति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा कृष्णा कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे. So we'll go through the 74th anucheda. एवं च यथा श्री भगवत वपुर आविर्भवति. एवं च यथा श्री भगवत वपुराविर्भवति लोके तथैव क्वचित् कस्यचित् तत् पदस्य आविर्भावः श्रूयते. What is the meaning? Therefore, just as the Lord's body self-manifests in this material world, similarly, scriptures describe that at different times, one of the various abodes of the Lord self-manifests somewhere in the world. So, just like there is an avatar of the Supreme Lord, some place or other, similarly, there is an avatar of the abode of the Lord also. That is what this Anucheda says. Just like the Lord's body self-manifests, Avir Bhavati. Similarly, the Shastra says that sometimes in some place in the universe, Kvachit Kasyachit, Tat Padasya means his Vaikuntha abode also Avirbhavaha Shruyate. His abode also appears in some place. This is described in the Shastra. And he quotes a shloka from the 8th canto of the Bhagavatam, 8th canto, 5th chapter, 4th and 5th shloka. पत्नी विकुंठा शुभ्रस्य वैकुंठै सुरसत्तमैः तयोस्वकलया जज्ञे वैकुंठो भगवान् स्वयं वैकुंठकल्पितो येन लोको लोकनमस्कृतः रमया प्रार्थ्यमाणेन दिव्या तत्प्रियकाम्यया. We had discussed this previously. Vikunta is the wife of the sage Shubra. And from them, the Lord himself appeared as Vaikunta. He is one of the Manvantara avatars. A partial manifestation along with the gods who are also known as Vaikuntas. And this Vaikunta, when he was requested by Rama Devi, in order to please her, the Lord manifested a planet called Vaikunta, to which all the universes bow down. Loka Namaskrita. So this planet Vaikunta is nothing but the Lord's abode Vaikunta. But this incarnation of the Lord called as Vaikunta, he created, we cannot say created, he manifested the planet called Vaikunta for the pleasure of his Rama Devi, his consort. So this is an example that how sometimes the Lord's abode Vaikunta also takes an avatar, appears in this world sometimes. So further, yata bhagavata avirbhava matram janmeti banyate tataiva vaikuntasyapi kalpana avirbhavanameva natu prakritavad kritrimatvam. So what is said is that just like we have the appearance of the Lord, just as the self-manifestation of the Lord is called birth, similarly the creation of Vaikuntha signifies its self-manifestation only. It is not as some artificially produced like a material object. Just like the Lord appears in this world, Vaikuntha also manifests on its own will, self-manifestation. It's not a Vaikuntha is created by some artificial means, like a material object. Kritrima means artificial. That's why it's mentioned that. Natu prakritavat kritrimatvam. There is no artificial creation of this Vaikuntha. Avirbhava, just like here, Avirbhavatiti, Tirobhavatiti, we say. Appearance and disappearance of the Acharyas, the Supreme Lord. Similarly, Vaikuntha also appears. Ubayatrapi nityatvad Ubayatradi nityatvad iti abhiprayena tat samyena aha jagnya iti. So in both cases, this is because both Bhagavan and his abode are eternal. Both Bhagavan and his abode are eternal. So Shukadeva Goswami, that is why he has used the word Jagnya. Shri Vikunta Sutasya Eva Idam Vaikuntam. So Vikunta is the name of the mother. Shubhru is the sage. Shubhru and Vikunta, they gave birth to the son called as Vaikunta. And this Vaikunta is the avatar of the Lord. And he created the abode Vaikunta for the pleasure of Rama Devi, his consort. Moola Vaikuntam tu Srishtehe Prag Shri Brahmana Drishtamiti Dvitiye Prasiddhameva. The original Vaikunta, the Moola Vaikunta, was seen by Brahma before the creation. This was described in the second canto. Satanniketam parimrishya shunyam apashyamanah kupito nanada. Satanniketam parimrishya shunyam apashyamana kupito nanada ityuktam tat sthanam tu swargadigatameva jneyam. It should be known that the Vaikunta referred to in the Sri Vamana statement. Vamana Dev told Bali Maharaj, when Vamana Dev came to meet Bali Maharaj, Vamana Dev told that Hiranyakashipu searched for the Lord throughout his abode and not finding him roared out of anger. That Vamana Dev told this. this statement, the Vaikuntha referred in the Ramana statement is in the Swarga region. This Vaikuntha, Hiranyakashipu, because he was a demon, he could not, the Lord is not visible to the people who are materially absorbed. Hiranyakashipu went to this abode of Vaikuntha, but he couldn't find the Lord only. So this Vaikuntha is in the Swarga region. So in this Anucheda, we see that the Lord's body is eternal, but the Lord self-manifests in this material world at certain times. Lord appears in this world. Similarly, Vaikuntha planets also appears, self-manifests at various times. Self-manifest means what? That means like we are forced to take birth because of our karma. But in the case of the Lord, we say he appears in this world. So Vaikuntha also appears like that. So during the Raivata Manvantara, that is the 5th Manvantara, Sri Vaikuntha appeared from the sage Shubra and Srimati Vikunta. And his associates, they are also known as Vaikuntha, appeared along with him. So at that time, the Lord manifested the planet Vaikuntha at the request of his consort Lakshmi Devi. So this Vaikuntha is above Satyaloka, and this is different from the Mahavaikuntha that Brahma saw in Brahma saw in the second canto. So Rupa Goswami confirmed this in the Laghu Bhagavatamrita. In Laghu Bhagavatamrita, when Rupa Goswami described the Manvantara avatars, when he is describing this Vaikuntha, Manvantara avatar in the 5th Manvantara, he quotes 2 shlokas cited in this Anucheda, and then he writes that Mahavaikuntha is all-pervading and imperishable in nature, and its self-manifestation is above Satyaloka is called Kalpana, creation. Mahavaikuntha lokasya vyapakasya vyayatmanah prakatikaranam satyopari kalpanam uchyate. Satya upari kalpanam uchyate. So Rupa Goswami, he is clarifying the meaning of the word kalpita, because the word kalpita is used in the shloka. The word kalpita, Vaikuntaha kalpito yena. Kalpita word is used. So Rupa Goswami is clarifying that by saying that normally kalpita means imagined or created. But because Vaikuntha is neither Vaikuntha, this meaning cannot apply to the word Vaikuntha, because Vaikuntha is not an imaginary thing. Vaikuntha cannot be created. So therefore, Rupa Goswami says that here the meaning must be taken as manifested. If Vaikuntha had either of these characteristics, that means an imaginary planet or created planet, then it would be like any other planet. So manifested is not an unreasonable or far-fetched meaning of kalpita or kalpana, because kalpita comes from the verbal root krupu samarthye. The root dhatu is krupu, which means to be capable. So by his own power, the Lord made Vaikuntha manifest above Satyaloka. In the same way, the Lord's appearance is called birth. The appearance of his abode is called Kalpana. So the Lord is not visible to the Asuras. Nagam Prakasha Sarvasya Yogamaya Samavrataha. Mudoyam Nabijanati Lokomam Ajamavyayam. The Bhagavad Gita Krishna says. So similarly, the Lord's abode also remains invisible to the Asuras, even if they consider it to be ordinary. And that is why when Hiranyakashipu went to look for the Lord in this abode, Hiranyakashipu said that Kimanyai Kala Nirdutai Kalpante Vaishnavadibihi. Hiranyakashipu said that Vaikuntha is also destroyed at the time of dissolution. Hiranyakashipu said, because Asuras cannot understand the transcendental nature of Vaikuntha. That means Hiranyakashipu was unable to realize the real Vaikuntha. So the abodes of the Lord within the material world, they remain concealed by the layer of material energy. The non-devotees, they cannot penetrate this layer and they cannot see the real abode. So Jiva Goswami points out the
Sorry, Prabhuji, to interrupt. But he said that except for Satyaloka, that's Brahma Loka, no, Brahma's abode, all the other planets are destroyed, including the Vishnu. So why was he so sure about this abode?
Like
He
he
said
was
that,
thinking
right?
like that actually. That is why he was understanding was that only Brahma is immortal. He wanted to occupy the position of Brahma. That was his understanding. That is why when he was performing austerities, the Devatas went to Brahma and they told Brahma that this person is performing austerities, but his real intention is that he wants to occupy your position. Like that.
Thank you.
That is his understanding. So Jiva Goswami points out the difference between the Mahavaikuntha seen by Brahma and the one manifested by Sri Vaikunta by referring to the history of Hiranyakashipu. So when Varahadev killed Hiranyakashipu, he wanted to take revenge against Vishnu. He went to this abode Vaikunta to look for Vishnu. But when he could not find him, he became even more angry. And Hiranyakashipu did not go beyond the coverings of the universe. So therefore, Jiva Goswami says that this Vaikunta is within the upper planetary system Swarga. So the principal verse in this section is spoken by Lord Vamanadev when he went to beg 3 steps of land from Bali Maharaj. So it shows that one cannot attain the Lord simply by physical endeavor. Although Hiranyakashipu was able to reach Vaikunta, he could not see the Lord. Therefore, his reaching Vaikunta is as good as not reaching. Similarly, there are many people, they may come to Vrindavan, Dwaraka, but they don't appreciate the land of Krishna's pastimes. Jagannath Puri is also known as a famous tourist location in Orissa. Many people come to Jagannath Puri most as a tourist spot also. So such people, they don't get much benefit from residing in the Dham. They may perform more sinful activities there. So some of these unfortunate people think that they will somehow obtain liberation by meeting death in Vrindavan. So they want to extract the benefit of the Dham without showing any appreciation for the Dham. Like in the Kumbh Mela also we say that sometimes people go to Kumbh Mela in order to get the benefit of that Kumbh Mela, but without having a deep appreciation, more like what is what is in it for me. One devotee said that his boss went to Kumbh Mela. He said immediately after Kumbh Mela, before boarding the flight, he also had a liquor and then he came back to Bombay, he said. So people go more. So many people are going, so I must also go there. So they don't go in the mood of their bath is more like an elephant bath. After elephant takes bath, then again puts dust. So Hiranyakashipu also went to Vaikunta, but he couldn't see the Lord there. So Jiva Goswami, in this Anucheda, the main point is that Vaikunta also appears just like the Lord appears in this world. So therefore, Jiva Goswami has shown that in this section, Vaikunta is completely transcendental and belongs to the internal nature of the Lord. It can manifest just like the Lord. Now, from the next Anucheda, he will show that the Lord's associates are also part of his internal nature. So, I think till the 74th Anucheda, that the topic of Vaikunta ends, how the Vaikunta belongs to the internal energy of the Supreme Lord. 75th Anucheda, short one. तदेवं श्री वैकुंठस्य स्वरूपभूतत्वे सिद्धे तद अंगभूतानां श्री पार्षदानां तादृशत्वं सुतरां सिद्धमेव. Just like the Jiva Goswami established the Swarupa of Vaikuntha, it belongs to the Lord's essential nature, internal potency. Similarly, the Lord's associates, they are also part of his internal energy. That is what he's saying. Yuktam chaiva tat sevakanam nadevo devamarchayet. नादेवो देवमर्चयेत् इति तत् सदृशता भावनामान्तरेण उद्देशेन अपि तत् सेवायामनधिकारात् साक्षात्तु साक्षादेव तत् सदृशत्वमिति तदेवं नित्यपार्षदाणां कैमुत्यमेवा eva patitam. So he says that this is certainly befitting for the Lord's servants, because for one who lacks the consciousness of being the same nature as the Lord is not fit even to worship the deity. In the deity worship, there is a statement, Nadevo devam archayet. Na adevo devam archayet. Na adevo means one who is not of the divine nature, devam archayet, should not worship the divine. One who is not of the divine nature should not worship the divine. So this is a principle in the deity worship. Therefore, one who lacks the consciousness of being the same nature as the Lord is not fit even to worship the deity. So then certainly, then direct worship of the Lord himself requires the devotee to be directly of the same nature as the Lord. Same transcendental nature as the Lord. Not same nature means not that a devotee thinks that I am the Supreme Lord. It means that same nature as the Lord means he should be devoid of material identification. He should be devoid of attachment to the matter. Because one cannot even worship the deity when a person is not having a divine consciousness. So definitely then the devotees in Vaikuntha, the associates of the Lord, they are definitely of the same nature as the Lord, same divine nature. Therefore, it is logical to conclude that the nature of the Lord's eternal associates cannot possibly other than identical to the divine nature of the Lord. Tadevam nitya parshadhanam kaimutyameva patitatvam eva patitatvam. So then he quotes a shloka. Ata eva aha देहेन्द्रिया सुहीनानां वैकुंठपुरवासिनां 7:134 इति 7:134 जन्म हेतुभूतैः देहेन्द्रियासुभिर्हीनानां शुद्धसत्त्वमय देहानाम् इत्यर्थः युधिष्ठिरः श्रीनारदम्. This is a shloka from 7.1.34. Yudhishthira is speaking to Narada. Therefore, Yudhishthira said to Narada, the residents of Vaikuntha are devoid of bodies, senses and life force. Dehendriya, Deha Indriya Asuhinanam. Deha Indriya Asuhinanam Vaikuntha Puravasinam. Vaikuntha residents are devoid of body, senses and life force, means devoid of material body, devoid of material senses and devoid of material life force. This means, according to Sridhar Swami, that the Vaikuntha residents have bodies consisting of Shuddha Sattva or unalloyed being, and not material body, senses and life force, which are causes of material birth. That's what Sridhar Swami says, Janma Hetu Bhutaihi Prakritair Dehendriya Asubir Hinanam. They don't have prakrita deha indriyasu, but shuddha sattvamaya dehanam ityartha. They have a body made of the shuddha sattva. So Vaikuntha, the associates of the Lord in Vaikuntha, they are also transcendental. So in the previous section, he spoke about the transcendental nature of Vaikuntha, the 9 characteristics of Vaikuntha and so many anuchedas. Now in this section, the transcendental nature of the associates of the Lord are described. Commentary. After establishing Vaikuntha is part of Lord Swarupa Shakti, Jiva Goswami says that his associates are also Swarupa Bhota. So already it was told that Vaikuntha cannot be approached by any fruitive activities. It can be attained only by pure devotional service. And Vaikuntha is shown that it is free of the material gunas. So naturally, everything in Vaikuntha is transcendental. But still, he wants to specifically prove that the associates of the Lord in Vaikuntha are also transcendental. So there are 2 types of associates, Nitya Siddhas and Sadhana Siddhas. So both are transcendental to the material gunas. So the devotee, Jiva Goswami says that those devotees in the material world who are practicing sadhana bhakti and who are worshipping the deity form, they cannot do so properly unless they purify their consciousness. So that's why before deity worship, what we have is that we do Manasa Puja. In the Manasa Puja, we try to prepare our consciousness. So we have a material body, but the Lord is transcendental. So in order to worship the transcendental Lord, we first perform Manasa Puja, we prepare our consciousness. Because just like suppose a very important guest is coming and you are there you are doing some work in your garden in your house, your hand is muddy and guest has come, you cannot serve the guest with your muddy hand. So similarly, the transcendental Lord is there. You cannot serve the transcendental Lord with a material consciousness. So you have to transform the body. You have to transform your material body through spiritual consciousness before worshipping the Lord. So unless the body is transformed through consciousness, service by the body alone gives no pleasure to the Lord. So therefore, we always emphasize that have the right mood in worshipping the deity. Maharaj mentioned one class that and know that everything in the deity room is spiritual except the consciousness of the pujari. Like that, he warned the pujaris like that. Try to develop the right consciousness. He said once he was addressing a group of Matajis who were making garlands. He said that while making garlands, if you are gossiping about others, then Radha Gopinath will feel that the garland made by you is like the garland of thorns. So Maharaj emphasized that very important to have the right consciousness. He said that we want to offer the best consciousness to Radha Gopinath. That he emphasized. So therefore, this says that Na Devo Devam Archet. One who is not of the divine should not worship the divine. Devam Bhutva Ejeta Devam. Worship the divine after becoming divine. But all the living entities in the material world have material bodies. So therefore, first we have to acquire divine qualities before worshipping deity service. So therefore, we have what is called as Bhuta Shuddhi. Before starting the deity worship, Bhuta Shuddhi means transformation of the material elements of the body through consciousness. That is called Bhuta Shuddhi. So Upasana literally means having a seat near to the Lord. But this is not to be taken merely in a physical sense. Upasana, having a seat near to the Lord. So to worship the Lord, one has to be not only in physical proximity, but one has to be close to the Lord in divine consciousness, but present in divine consciousness. So therefore, when we say become divine in order to worship the divine, it does not mean that one should meditate upon oneself as a deity. Not that you think that I have become God. That is ahangaropasana, not that. It means that first develop a divine consciousness. So ahangaropasana should be shunned by those who aspire to walk on the path of pure devotion. Ahangaropasana means I am God. So now should one meditate upon oneself, and also one should not think that now I am going to worship Krishna. Now I am Yashoda, or now I am Nanda Maharaj. Become divine does not mean that to think that now I am Garuda, or now I am Yashoda, now I am Sudama. That is also not indicated there, because to think that I am Nanda Maharaj, I want to become Nanda Maharaj Yashoda, that is also considered Ahangaropasana. So Jiva Goswami has forbidden such meditation. So the Tantras explains various types of Bhuta Shuddhi for various types of worshippers. So the pure devotee should meditate upon themselves as having a suitable form for the service of the Lord. Jiva Goswami explained that the pure devotee should meditate upon themselves as having a suitable form for the service of the Lord. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, that's why before the deity worship, in the Bhuta Shuddhi, we chant the shloka. Naham Vipro Nacha Narapatir Napi Vaishyo na Shudro Naham Varni Nacha Grihapatir No Vanasto Yatirva Kintu Prodyan Nikila Paramananda Purnamritabdir Gopi Bharatur Padakamalayur Dasa Dasanudas. I am not a Brahmana, nor a Kshatriya, not a Vaishya, nor a Shudra, not a Brahmachari, Grahastha, Vanaprastha, Sannyasi. But since Krishna, the lover of the gopis and an overflowing ocean of nectar, is the sole source of supreme and immortal joy, I am simply a servant of the servant of his lotus feet. So therefore, the purport is that to serve the Lord, one has to see beyond all ephemeral designations related to the material body and situate oneself in one's eternal constitutional position. This is called Bhuta Shuddhi, becoming free from material designation. This is the true meaning of becoming divine. Because to think oneself, I am a Brahmana or I am a sannyasi, that is material designation. Sarvopadi vinirmuktam tattvaratmena nirmalam. So therefore, even to worship a deity form, if such a self-awareness of divine consciousness is necessary, then by Kaimuttika Nyaya, it naturally follows that direct service to him in Vaikuntha definitely requires that one is situated in one's spiritual constitutional position. In the material world, before worshipping a deity, one has to be in divine consciousness. Then what to speak of in the Vaikuntha, the associates of the Lord who render service to him, they are definitely with me the transcendental platform. They render transcendental service to the Lord, the transcendental Lord, with the transcendental minds and senses. So therefore, this was also spoken by Yudhishthira to Narada Muni. And that is the verse quoted in this Anuccheda. So Yudhishthira Maharaj is asking a question to Narada Muni. He is asking a question about the fall down of Jaya and Vijay. How can the Jaya and Vijay be cursed by the four Kumaras? So he is asking a question. The residents of Vaikuntha, Jaya and Vijay, did not have material bodies, material senses. Because that would violate the inherent nature of the transcendental abode. Their bodies were completely spiritual. So some people may say, they try to postulate from this that they could have been pure living entities belonging to Tatastha Shakti or the intermediary potency and not part of the Antaranga Shakti. But this doubt will be cleared up in the following anucheda. Some people may say that maybe Jay and Vijay, they are pure living entities, but they are not belonging to the Swarupa Shakti, they are belonging to the Tatastha Shakti. Therefore, they fell down. Like that one may say. But this will be cleared in the next anucheda. So in this way, this 75th anucheda shows that how the associates of the Lord are also transcendental. For that, two main quotations, even to worship the deity in the material world, first you have to develop a divine consciousness before worshipping the deity. Then what to speak of those who are serving the Lord directly in the spiritual world? They must be definitely having a transcendental body. And there's a Bhagavatam verse where Yudhishthira is telling to Narada, the associates of the Lord in Vaikuntha, they don't have material bodies, then how can they be cursed? We'll take one more Anucheda, short, and then we'll end. Tata Atmatulyai Shodasharbir Vina Shrivats Kaustubau Paryupasita Unnidra Sharadamburu Hekshanam. This is from 6th canto, 9th chapter, 29th shloka. Shodashabihi, that means Sri Sunanda Dadibihi. Main, I think the Atma Tulyai is important word. Atma Tulyai Shodashabir Vina Srivatsa Kaustubha. Without having the Srivatsa and Kaustubha, the associates of the Lord are equal to the Lord. Paryupasita Unnidra Sharadambu Ruhekshanam. So they saw him with eyes resembling a pair of full-blown autumn lotuses, surrounded by his 16 associates, Shodasha, who appeared exactly like him. This is the important word. Atma Tulyai. But only without the mark of Srivatsa and Kaustubha jewel. Srivatsa and Kaustubha jewel were not there, but otherwise they were exactly like him, the 16 associates. The 16 associates like Sunanda. In the previous section, Jiva Goswami explained that the associates of the Lord are transcendental like him. Now he explains that some of the Lord's intimate associates have the same bodily features as the Lord. That is called as Sarupya Mukti. This increases the beauty of the Lord, for when people having similar bodily features walk together, it appears elegant. So the verse says that they are Atma Tulya, similar or equal to the Lord. Similarity is defined as the condition of having many of the qualities of another entity or object, yet still being different from it. What is the technical definition of similarity? Tad binnatve sati tadvad bhuyo dharmavatvam. Tad binnatve sati, while being different from that object, but still having many common qualities, common dharmas like that object. That is called a similarity. The associates of the Lord are not equal to him in every sense, as no one can be equal to or greater than the Lord. Lord is called as Asamordvam. Asamordvam means one who has no equal. What to speak of somebody even greater than him. So the verse says that the Lord's associates look like him, but they don't have the Srivatsa and Kaustubha. So these are two distinct features of the Lord. They cannot be found anywhere else. So mark, the Srivatsa is a mark for golden hair having a clockwise turn on the left side of Lord's chest. Vakshasi Shuklavarna Dakshinavarta Lomavali. That is what describes the Shabda Kalpadruma dictionary. So this mark represents the consort of the Lord Lakshmi Devi. Kaustuba gem represents the living beings. In the Kapila Dev's instructions to Devahuti and the meditation on the different limbs of the Lord, Kaustuba gem represents the living beings. So only the Lord holds both the Lakshmi Devi and the living beings, Antaranga Shakti and Tatastha Shakti. So therefore, these two insignia are found only on him. So according to Vamshidhara, the names of the Lord's 16 associates are Nanda, Sunanda, Prabala, Udbala, Jaya, Vijaya, Vishwaksena, Garuda, Shrutadeva, Jayanta, Kumuda, Kumudaksha, Nishata, Satvata, Pushpadanta, and Daruka. Sometimes other scriptures give different names. So, Padma Puran was quoted by Jiva Goswami in Anucheda 10. Bhagavatam also gives some of their names in the following verse. That one should worship the Lord's associates Nanda and Sunanda, Garuda, Prachanda and Chanda, Mahabala and Bala, Kumuda and Kumudekshana. This is a verse on from the deity worship chapter, 11th canto, 27th chapter. So this verse describes these associates of the Lord as worshipable along with the Lord. So, see, Bhagavatam also says that one should worship the associates of the Lord along with the Lord. That means the associates of the Lord are of the same nature as the Lord. So, therefore, the Srimad Bhagavatam, the Lord made this point himself when he said of his personal associate, Uddhava. About the personal associate Uddhava, Krishna told that Nodavon apimanyuno yadgunair nardita prabhu. Atomat vayunam lokam grahayan iha tishtatu. So Krishna told about Uddhava that since he is the master of his senses and never affected by material nature or its gunas, Uddhava is in no measure less than me. Let him therefore remain in the world to spread the transcendental knowledge about me. Uddhava is in no way inferior to me. That means he has the same transcendental nature like me. So similar descriptions can be found of the Lord's other associates in Vrindavan as well as in Dwaraka. So in this Anucheda, how the Lord's associates are also transcendental. For that, the verse from the 6th canto, 9th chapter is quoted. 6th canto, 9th chapter, I think, when the Devatas heard prayers, when they were Vritrasur appeared and defeated the Devatas. Devatas worshipped the Lord. At that time, the Lord appeared along with his associates. There it is mentioned that Atma Tulyair, all these associates are equal to the Lord, except that they don't have Kaustuba gem and the Srivatsa. Other verses to support that is that in the 11th canto, 27th chapter, Krishna instructs Uddhava that worship my associates also. In this way, we have seen these Anuchedas 74, 75, and 76. 74th Anucheda is that just like the Lord appears in this world, Vaikuntha also appears in this world. 75th and 76th Anucheda is that about how the Lord's associates are also transcendental. Now, in the next Anucheda, that Jiva Goswami will explain that because the Lord's associates are transcendental, the association of such associates of the Lord is the supreme goal to be achieved. That is the highest aspiration. We'll see that in the next week. Hare Krishna. So we are slowly progressing towards the end of 102 Anuchedas are there. We have completed 76. Some of the later Anuchedas are a little long. Okay. Anybody has any questions? Okay, then we'll end here. See you next week.
Prabhuji, Lord Shiva's lecture you can whenever you have time.
I will upload it. ओके। ग्रंथरा श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय, श्रील जीव गोस्वामी प्रभुपाद की जय, श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय, गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। हरे कृष्ण।